it stems from a really, really simple idea. And it's this thing we can do right now, which is if you just pause and just stop for a moment and look around you, it's this statement of truth. Every single thing that you, me, everybody watching, everything they can see, unless it's a plant, a rock, another person, or some other animal, or maybe some water, has been manufactured. Right? It sounds so obvious and such a pointless statement to make in a way, but it's quite profound. So every single thing, if I look here, there's microphone, screen, laptop, other screen, books, shelf, screws holding the shelves up, covers of the book, a box, iPhone, desk, chair, carpet, every single thing and every component within it, someone had to say, this is what it's going to be. These are the materials that are going to be needed. And they're going to assemble and do things with those materials to make components, to make subsystems, to make a product that then has to be shipped to where it's needed. Right? And so something, I do this in the book where it's going to sound a bit weird, this, but bear with me. Toilet paper, right? I should point out I'm not doing this from the, yeah, okay. I keep this with me. It is just extraordinary. Something even as simple as that it's got an incredibly complex journey behind it. So unless it's recycled or bamboo, in Europe, this paper is made from trees from two different parts of the world. You've got trees, if you want your strength in the paper, which that tends to come from trees grown in colder climates, like for us, it's Scandinavia. And for the softness you need, the fibers come from trees grown in warmer climates. So even something as simple as this has had a journey of thousands of miles, huge amounts of energy, 40 years to grow the trees, minimum 40 years. It's one of the reasons they want to move to bamboo, because it grows much quicker. Even something as simple as this has a ludicrously complex manufacturing story. And that's pretty, that's a thing. If you then jump to something like this, I mean, it's been in the news all over the place, but the number of components, it's what, 2,500 or more components in this. The distance all the components have traveled by the time they end up in my hand here, before I even start using it, it's estimated by a guy, a great book called Door to Door. And it's fantastic. I've got a copy somewhere up here. Yep, by, who is it? By Edward Humes. Great book. I'd highly recommend it. He estimates before it reaches our hand, it's traveled the equivalent of 6 times around the world. This has probably got so the silicon that goes into the chip has probably come from the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina, because that's where some of the purest quartz for silicon is found. So you've got this incredible thing where you've got things being dug out of the ground in very, very specific parts of the world. And think how many of these there are in the world, how many hundreds of millions are being sold all the time. And they all have many, nearly all of them trace back to very specific geographic locations where something is dug out of the ground. You've then got the fact that there are a huge number of technologies in this to actually make it work. And so just going through quickly some of the countries involved. So you've got the US, obviously for the design and all of what goes on there. The physical bits of it will have come from the US, but also China, Democratic Republic of Congo, very likely for the cobalt, for the batteries. So you've got this incredible, literally bits of the earth being dug up to make this. You've then got all the incredible design work, and that's scattered all around the world and draws on technology from all sorts of places. It is very likely that the bulk of the semiconductors here were made in Taiwan. This fact that, what's the figure? I think it's 80% of advanced microprocessors are made on the island of Taiwan. Not by, just as in, by a Taiwanese owned company. No, literally made on that island. So there's so much concentration of technology in one single place. It's absolutely extraordinary. And then you've got slightly wacky ones, though. There's a Dutch company called ASML, and I had not heard of them until relatively recently. I knew roughly what they did, but I didn't realize how important they are. They make the machines that do the lithography, the etching and the photographic stuff that allows you to make the microprocessors. So these machines are extraordinary. They cost hundreds of millions to make. You need like 40 shipping containers to ship a single one of these machines. Every semiconductor plant in the world needs multiple of these. And these are just and it comes from one company in the Netherlands. So there's this incredible thing I like about it is there's not only amazing things happening around the world, but it's very, very concentrated in a small number of companies, which is why it gets so interesting geopolitically in the situation we're facing at the moment with geopolitics. We'll just leave it at that. Really is messing up that system, because suddenly we go, oh, how does that work? Can we still move these bits backwards and forwards? There's that one. We can have this incredible system where we're now manufacturing things all around the world, and because shipping costs are so low, we can have whatever we want delivered to us, and it's cheaper to make it 10,000 miles away than on the front door, which, let's discuss that later. But it's also incredibly fragile. And there's this wonderful photo that many of you will have seen of the ship called the Ever Given, which is 200,000 tons, capacity of 20,000 containers, and it's going along the Suez Canal. And one person on the bridge of that ship just decides to go a little bit faster to compensate for something that was happening. So one person pushes forward one little lever, and plunk, the ship blocks the canal. So that's 10% of global trade stops in the water, literally stops dead. For 6 days, 10% of all the shipped goods going that way stopped. This is billions. So you just go, hang on, we've got a system that is so important to our lives. It's so elegant. It's so wonderfully complex, with millions of companies all coordinated so we can get whatever we want from Amazon and delivered. It's absolutely amazingly brilliant. Yet it can be brought to a halt by one person on one ship making one bad decision. And this made me just go, this can't be right. But it is. And that's why I got so interested in particularly the supply chain side of things. Now, I kind of knew this from the day job, but it was just realizing that so many people I was being interviewed by from the government and from journalists kind of knew it. But when you kind of pushed and bit and said, but you do realize that everything has been manufactured, and it's not just we're a bit short of a few face masks and surgical gowns. Pretty much everything has been manufactured quite far away and brought to us.